Hello everyone. So in today's video we're going to do video number 4 of 6, and we are going to make this recipe. So we are going to make this recipe. It's out of this book, and this is one of Ina Garten's pretty famous recipes actually. So we're going to do chicken with 40 cloves of garlic, and this is a recipe I've wanted to try for a really long time. So I'm pretty excited to try it, so let's start making it. So I decided to use dark meat. I bought some legs, and we're going to separate the drumsticks from the thighs. I already pre-peeled all the garlic. I actually have a little bit extra here as well because I plan to make garlic mashed potatoes with this. So let's separate the chicken. I will try to link this recipe down below if I can find it. So I'm just going to separate the drumstick from the thigh here, like that, and cut off any excess fat like that. When I first seen her make this recipe on one of her cooking shows, she baked it in the oven and she did it with a whole chicken. So this recipe is for pieces of chicken and it doesn't go in the oven. These are a recipe that you fry and then you finish simmering it with a sauce. So all I'm doing is taking the pieces off here. And there's a joint right here. I cut through the skin and then I go like this to break it, and then I cut through it. It's easier to cut through once you break it. I'm not a huge fan of excess fat on my chicken, so I'm going to cut that off. From what I can tell, this recipe is fairly simple. Like that. This recipe does have alcohol in it. I went out and bought some non-alcoholic wine. The last recipe we made with a leek soup gave me a little bit of a stomachache because the wine we put in it. So I went out and bought some non-alcoholic wine. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I have an intolerance to alcohol. So I bought non-alcoholic for today's recipe. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to season these. Let me wash my hands and then I'll get some salt and pepper. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. Let me get a spoon for this. Oh, I used all my salt. One sec, I gotta get some salt. I do use pink Himalayan salt too sometimes. I have a bunch of it. Okay, so we just need to season each side of this. I'm just going to do a little bit. I love garlic, so I've been super excited to try this recipe. I think it's going to taste delicious, especially since it has a sauce. I love sauce on chicken, pretty much any kind of recipe really. Do the same with the pepper here. Try to do this a little bit more liberally. So we need to fry these skin side down to start with, and make sure that the skin is nice and crispy. I'm trying not to get too much on here. Oh, we didn't do that side. There we go. Make sure I got both sides of there. Okay, so now let's start frying these. We're going to fry them in my cast iron pan here. Okay, so in the recipe it says to melt some butter with some olive oil in the pan and to crisp up the chicken in the butter and olive oil mixture. And some olive oil. When you mix olive oil and butter together, it helps the olive oil not to scorch. Helps bring down the temperature a little bit so that the oil doesn't scorch. So we're just going to let this melt for a minute, heat up a bit, and then we're going to start sauteing the chicken here. Okay, so sorry if you can hear my dishwasher in the background, but had to do my dishes. Okay, so I think I'm going to start with the chicken thighs, just because I think they're going to take a little longer to cook. She says to saute them skin down to start with, and about 5 minutes or so on each side. And make sure that they're like a crispy golden brown color. So that's what we're going to start with. Just want to baste it a little bit with the butter here. Butter and the olive oil. Want to make sure they're not sticking. Okay, I'm going to give those a couple minutes to start crisping up. While these are crisping up, I'm going to go peel some potatoes for the side dish I'm making for this. So I think they're ready to flip. Oh yeah, definitely. Now we'll do them for another 5 minutes on this side. Looks good. The potatoes, I have them all peeled. I'm going to stick some salt in the water here. Flavor the water. Okay, so in the recipe it says just to brown them. They're not going to be fully cooked. So that's what we're doing. They get fully cooked later. So we're just supposed to be browning them at the point here. Okay, let's put the next ones in. She says if your oil starts to burn, to turn down your pan. You could also add a little bit more olive oil or butter to it. Okay, so we're just going to crisp up these ones. And then once these are crisp, we can finish putting together some of the recipe. I am just rotating these, trying to get a nice sear on all edges here. Make sure they're nice and seared. I think I'm trying to wipe up the splatters at the same time here. Try to keep up on it. Okay, so I'm going to turn this to low. I'm going to take these out. And then we are supposed to put the garlic into the butter and olive oil. So for the garlic mashed potatoes that I'm making, I'm just going to put all of the garlic in here, and then I'm going to take some of it out before I put the sauce portion in. So turn this right to low. Hopefully this doesn't burn. She says to saute these on low. How long does it say to saute these for? Let me just check. 5 to 10 minutes. I think she wants them to be nice and soft and infuse the sauce. Part of the sauce here. It's not all of the sauce. And then once these are sauteed, I'm going to take a few of them out to put in the potato. In her recipe, it does say that if you have trouble getting the peels off, to put them in, to put your cloves of garlic into a pot of water, of boiling water, for a couple minutes, for 5 minutes or so, and they'll come right off. I peeled these all by hand with a knife. Okay, so we're just going to let those simmer. Smells really good. Oh my gosh, I love garlic. I think that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to try this recipe. I've first watched her make this recipe when I was probably 16, 17, maybe 20, right in that range. And I was super intrigued because it looked so delicious. Okay, I'm gonna let those simmer for a couple minutes. Thought I'd give you a close-up look at them simmering here. They look great. I wish you could smell it. It smells so good. Okay, so the garlic is a nice golden brown color. Smells delicious. I flattened a couple of them just to get some more of the garlic flavor. So now I'm just going to take out a few for the potato, for my garlic mash that I'm making. That should be good. Okay, so now we leave the garlic in the pan and we add 3 tablespoons of cognac. If you do not have cognac, brandy works just as good. And then 1.5 cups of dry white wine. Just let me get a cup for this. And this makes up part of the sauce here. As I said before, I am using non-alcoholic wine. I think the 3 tablespoons of cognac should be okay. Hopefully, I'm going to cook it off here really well. Okay, and then she says to simmer this. Let me check here. Okay, so we're supposed to let this boil for a couple minutes, bring it back up to heat here, and let it boil, cook off some of the alcohol, and then we add in the chicken again. I think we add a couple tablespoons of flour before we add the chicken in. I'll check the recipe and make sure. So this is the part where we take the bits off the bottom of the pan to make sure we get all the goodness from frying the chicken. Give you a close-up look. So this is what it looks like right now. We're just taking the bits off, letting the alcohol simmer down. I just turned up the heat so it boils off the alcohol a bit, especially the cognac. Smells heavenly. This is my garlic mash here. I'm not following a specific recipe for this. I'm just breaking up some of the garlic before I put it in, just so you don't get big, huge chunk. We already got butter in there. I love this potato ricer. It works so well. Add some salt. Potatoes are pretty bland. Pepper. For a little bit more garlic flavor, I'm going to add some more garlic powder to this. Add some heavy cream. Oh, brand new jug. Heavy cream or milk. Sometimes I use milk. Okay, I'm going to give it a taste. Make sure the seasonings are good. It's not bad. It needs more pepper though. Nice and garlicky. I can taste the roasted garlic. It's really good. Okay, let's go check the sauce. Okay, so this has been simmering for a while. As you can see, the sauce is nice and dark from all the bits coming off the bottom and the garlic. So I got about 2 or 3 tablespoons of flour here to help thicken the sauce. Oh, that went well. I'll get it up. Break up the little bits that I got in there. I'm just breaking up the flour bits because there was a little bit of chunks. We don't want chunks. Let me turn it down a little bit. Make sure I got all the chunks here. There is chunks of garlic in here as well because I crushed a few of them to get more flavor into the sauce. Here, let me just take that piece out. A couple over here. Okay, I think that's good. So now I'm going to put the chicken back in. I'm just trying to break up flour chunks here. I think I'm going to add a little bit of chicken stock to this just to make it a little bit thinner. Just a little bit. You can see all the bits from the bottom. Looks great. Okay, so now let's add the chicken back in so we can let it simmer and finish cooking. So it says in the recipe to let it simmer for another 30 minutes to let all of the chicken finish fully cooking. Looks delicious. I'm going to add some of these garlic cloves on top of the chicken here. Give it a little bit more flavor. This, oh, I wish you guys could smell this. There, I think that's covered good enough. We'll let that simmer for a bit. Close-up look. That looks delicious. Oh my god. Okay, so the chicken is done. So let's give one of these a taste. Okay. So let me get a fork. Okay. I did check the seasonings and they were good. Oh my god. That is so flavorful. Oh my gosh. Try one more piece. The garlic, because it was slowly cooked and into the sauce, you can't taste the alcohol whatsoever. It tastes really, really good. I hope you guys try it. It tastes really, really delicious. So guys, this is where I'm going to end the video for today. So I hope you guys try the recipe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.